So I am live. Hello, hello, everybody. I am so excited, beautiful people. How are you? Welcome to our very first episode of Her Business, Her Story. And this is a live series where we shine a spotlight on incredible women owned businesses making waves in their industry. And so, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to make sure that we are live in our Facebook groups. I want to make sure I share because I want to make sure that everybody really gets a chance to see this beautiful interview that we are about to do. So, just give me a second. I'm going to turn down my volume. And this is very organic. Okay. So, this is my first time doing it this way. And let's see, I'm going to open this up. And first, let me go to, I'm going to share it with my page first because I'm doing this in my page. And then I'm going to share it to the group so that you guys will get the opportunity to really have a full share in this. So let's go back here. Let's share. Let's copy this link. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm just giving everybody time to jump on and make sure that they are seeing this and that we are, technology, but let's see here. I think I have it now. I'm going to post the link in here and we should be live in our group now. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay. I think we're definitely in our group. And I'm going to first introduce before I bring on our first guest. I want to tell you a little bit about her. And we're having our first guest is Aliya Kenyatta. She's at LCSW. She's the founder and therapist at Ivy Roots Counseling and Consulting. Aliya specializes in helping overwhelmed yet motivated women recover from burnout, revitalize their relationships, and elevate their self-esteem. She uses a relational-cultural approach to understanding you and incorporates somatic techniques to reset your nervous system and assist you in creating a softer, more balanced life. I love that. And so we're going to learn more about how you can schedule a free 15-minute consultation by setting up something with Aliya. And all of her information is in the post, how you can schedule your appointment with her. But first, let me just go ahead and bring her on. Hi, Aliya. How are you? How are you?
Hi, Robin. Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So let me see here. I'm just watching what's happening here live.
hmm
And it looks like it's all going well. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, Miss Aliya. Oh, yes. So, first, um, tell me a little bit about your business. What do you do and who do you serve?
Yep, like you mentioned, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm licensed in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and I provide therapy to women who are overwhelmed, burned out, but who are very motivated, ambitious. I help them recover from burnout, revitalize their relationships, and elevate their self-esteem. And those last two are both components that I've seen like trends in contributing to burnout, specifically the relational dynamics. That's kind of my bread and butter. I love relationships, so I spend a lot of time helping women understand how their relational patterns from their upbringing are affecting their relational patterns now that are contributing to their burnout. So people pleasing, overdoing, all of those things, help them kind of
Wow.
understand it through that lens.
I love that. I love that because, especially now, I think since COVID, I think people really now realize how burnt out they really
Oh
were.
yeah.
I know for myself, I was on that hamster wheel, and I thought that was normal.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we supposed to do, work hard
Mhm.
like that. But I realized something was wrong.
Exactly. And when
Yeah.
we were isolated, we were isolated with our families, which is a whole other, thing that brought
Yeah.
up a whole bunch for
Yeah.
everybody. But
Yeah.
I think that COVID really did highlight how burned out everybody is and a type of life or the type of lifestyle that we could have. It gave us a glimpse of some of us, not everybody, but it gave us some people a glimpse of what rest could feel like and what overworking really looks like. I think it was really polarized.
I
So,
agree. I
yeah.
agree. I agree. I That's the first thing I realized. I was like, this is what I should be doing.
Mhm.
Resting and really spending time with my family, but still be able to have a career that fulfills me and not overwork me.
Exactly. Yep.
So it really was a period of respite to kind of rethink things. So I
It was.
definitely agree. So what inspired you to start this journey?
This was always the end goal. I've always wanted to be some type of psychologist, therapist, something like that. When I was in high school, I remember we had to do like a project on what we wanted to do, and I did child psychology back then. That is not what I what I do now at all, honestly.
Mhm.
But I knew it was something because I love studying people and I love understanding people and helping people understand themselves better. I have learned over the years that I have a pretty high pattern recognition. So like I notice patterns really quick, like easily, and that coupled with studying people kind of led me to this career. So when people say, "Oh, when do you take your therapist hat off?" I'm like, it's a limb. It's not really a hat. It's who I am. I
Yeah,
chose a career that made sense based on my personality and my interest.
right. I got you. I got you. Um,
And so this was always a goal. So I just the path looked, and as most of us, our stories tend to be. I knew this is what I wanted to do. The path looked very different, but I ended up in the same place, owning my own practice.
Interesting. Very interesting. So, was there a defining moment that kind of pushed you to take this leap into this particular area of study?
I'll say last year, I my background is mostly in higher ed. I've worked in higher ed since I've been in college, and my last role as a college counselor at a private college uh, was it was being taken over by a local hospital network. And
Mhm.
so I would be an employee through a hospital, and I just never wanted that for myself. And I was already on the fence of like, oh, should I take the leap and just go full-time private practice? That kind of was the push because it really made me evaluate my values. And
Mhm.
I do value like autonomy. I value independence. I value my value just seemed to not be in alignment with what the hospital was coming in to do.
Get you.
And so that was kind of like it's either now or never.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so that kind of was the impetus that made me take the leap last year.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So, could you share with us maybe a transformation story, or like what would people expect by having a consultation with you? What's your goal to the end result for that person?
My end goal for my end goal for all of my clients is to help them be more in alignment with their goals. So my goals are dependent upon my client's goals. And I asked that right from the beginning. My 15-minute consultation is specifically centered around why are you coming into therapy? What led you here? What was it that made you take the leap in looking for a therapist? Because it's not an easy thing to
Yeah,
look for a therapist.
yeah,
Based on, systemic stuff. But so once they get there, I'm just like, what is it that you want to work on? Where do you see yourself? And
right.
that's when I help them. Well, I let them know how I can help them, how I can be of service to them. I let them know what therapy looks like, both the ups and downs of therapy and what it feels
Mhm.
like. Because like any health journey, it's not all roses and glitter. So I let
Exactly.
yeah, so I let them know that. Did that answer your question, or was
I
that?
think so. I think so. That was very helpful because, like you said, because of, I guess, maybe more in the African American community, there are people are a little hesitant to
Hmm.
get therapy or to talk to someone. And so to understand what the goal is, you know, it's not to fix you. You know, some
No.
people think it's to fix them or to figure out what's wrong with you. And
Hmm.
it's really not that. It's really to uncover maybe there's some trauma there that's prompting some things that are happening in your life. And
Hmm.
so it's really to help you build yourself as a person.
It
Um,
is.
and so yeah, so I think once people hear that and understand that, and I'm glad that you do that 15-minute consultation to kind of give them a peek into what they can expect, you
Yeah,
know.
especially because I specialize in relational dynamics, I think it's so important to have that first touch. One, to ease their mind. Two, to make sure we're a good fit. Because I've heard countless people say, I tried therapy and I don't like it. And usually, what
Mhm.
it comes down to is they didn't like their therapist. And
Mhm.
everybody is not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
I am not everybody's cup of tea. And so you want to make sure that you vibe, for lack of a better word, vibe with your
Exactly.
therapist, because that has been shown. Like, research has shown that is the most important component of therapy, making sure that you feel comfortable with your therapist. So I think that 15 minutes is the time for not only me to ask your goals, but to showcase what it's like. I mirror what my sessions would look like. And I like that you mentioned what therapy is, because if I'm asked what is therapy, I like to let people know that I'm here to help you cope with the ups and downs of life that you are guaranteed to have forever, because
Yes.
it will always go like this. And
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you have the tools, the confidence to be able to handle those downs and the ups, because sometimes it's difficult to handle the
Mhm.
ups too,
Yeah.
and help you figure out what barriers are in the way of you coping with those.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Um, would you say there's something unique that you offer when it comes to your business? Do you have a unique approach or something that makes you stand out as a therapist?
I think that my background in my undergrad degree, I have a bachelor's in African American studies, and then my master's in social work. I think that makes me unique in how I work with Black people, but specifically Black women. Because as a therapist, you're trained to, as a generalist, you can work with most people, but most people are not trained to work with Black people and the unique
Hmm.
experiences that we have had throughout the diaspora. In
Yes.
terms of the education that I got from Temple University, I was taught to work with that, not just Black Americans or African Americans. So I think that contributes to what's unique. I think that my approach as a relational cultural therapist is slightly unique. I see the world through relationships. So if I'm asked if you put a stranger in front of me and someone says get to know them, I'm going to ask about your relationship with your parents, your culture, your everything. I'm just asking all of that. And I think that it doesn't sound unique after pre-COVID, I mean post-COVID,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I am all virtual. And that also is something that I took into consideration when I chose my niche of working with burned out women. I am trying to help women not do as much. So if I can
Mm-hmm.
take one thing off of your schedule, which is
Yeah.
scheduling how to get to me, and you can see
Yeah.
me in your car, your office, your home,
Right. Yes.
that's I'm happy. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that because that is stressful. Now
Yes.
you have to just figure out, okay, I got to make the time to get there.
Hmm.
I have to decompress and sit there.
Hmm.
And then I have to figure out how to get from the office, wherever we're meeting, to the next place. So now just the logistics can be very stressful. And I know for
Exactly.
me, for women of a certain age, we just don't like to drive anymore. You just don't want to drive anymore. You don't want to deal with the traffic, the stress, the crazy people that's driving. That increases your stress level.
Exactly.
So I
And then you
love,
add on like different age women of like who have children and
yes,
childcare and all of that stuff.
yes,
So even through my sessions, like I'll have my clients, they have their kids with them, their babies or something. I'm like, I get it. If you add another layer, this might prevent you from coming to therapy. So I'm pretty flexible when it comes to therapy as well. I wouldn't consider myself I'm really good at creating my own boundaries. So, in that way, but like I'm flexible in terms of like the rigidity of therapy
yes,
too.
yes, yes. I think it's great. I think I should have got I should have got some shares into Zoom because I think, from COVID on, I think they have zoomed up because,
Yeah.
it is easier now. It is more, and it makes dealing with situations more flexible
Mhm.
and you get more support as well. I absolutely love it.
More access. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what what would you say as far as a business owner? What was some of the things that you might have to overcome? Because it's still a business. Yes, you're a
Mhm.
therapist, but you're running a business.
That's
What
right.
challenges have you had to overcome?
I would say the biggest one was doubt, self-doubt. When I was planning on taking the leap, I remember that was probably the most stressed out through everything I've been through in my life, which has been some stuff, but that was probably the most stressed out that I have been in a really long time because it felt so threatening because it was something not only that I had never done, but I had never seen anybody else in my immediate sphere do this. Be
Mm.
a solo mother of two. I'm a solo mother of twins, by the way. Um,
Ah,
Leaving a full-time job without a man to pursue
mm,
full-time private practice or business ownership.
right.
Like I had never seen anybody do that, so I was
Yeah.
terrified.
Yes. So getting over that fear of
Mhm.
owning your own business, setting up this practice, raising two beautiful daughters,
Thank
and
you.
doing this on your own. Yeah,
Yes.
I
Yeah, I was
get it.
terrifying. That was like I would say that was the biggest challenge
Yes,
of just
I
getting
get it.
over it and just trusting, having faith, and knowing that things will work out. Reminding myself who I am and that I'm capable, and if trying not to think too deeply into having a plan B, but knowing that if I needed to, I will.
Yes,
So
yes.
that was the biggest challenge for me.
Oh, okay. So now that you addressed your challenge, what was the proudest moment for you as a business owner? When did you say, "Whew, okay, I did this"? What was that proudest moment for you?
It was when I hit a year of owning the practice in May.
Oh,
And I looked around and I was like, I really did this. I was like, I
yes,
actually survived, not just survived, thrived. I've been because one of the reasons that I did leave the full-time work is I wanted to spend more time with my kids. They just started middle school today. So I knew they were heading into middle school. I wanted to be more
mhm,
present with them. And I
yeah.
was able to do that this year. So to be able to sit back and be like, I really was able to do this all on my own, I was just really proud.
Awesome. Awesome. I hear you. That is great. So if you could give one piece of advice to another woman starting a business, what would it be?
Um, it's a pretty different type of advice, but I read a book called The E Myth Revisited, and I cannot remember that man's name, but it's called The E Myth, like email, like E Myth Revisited, and
Uh-huh.
he broke down entrepreneurship in a way that it hadn't been explained to me before, and I read it right before I started my business 5 years ago, actually,
Okay.
well, 6 years ago, and he explained that there are three different types of people. He explained that there are entrepreneurs, true entrepreneurs, and I say true, I don't mean to sound one is better than the other, but just to
Hmm.
explain it, because entrepreneurship is pushed a lot. True
Hmm.
entrepreneurs who are really like good at creating ideas and thoughts and all of that stuff. They have amazing ideas, maybe lack a little bit of follow through or a lot of
Hmm.
follow through. There are managers who are good at managing and helping the entrepreneurs' thoughts come to fruition and managing the employees. And then there are people who are more worker based, who love to be hands on, who need to be a
Hmm.
part of it. And
Right.
it's really important to know which one you are, not to not start a business, but to know what you need when you start a business. Because what tends to happen in a capitalistic society is employees or workers tend to be overworked. So they think their way out is start a business. I want to become an entrepreneur. But what they end up doing is creating another job. So these are the people that you see who own a restaurant but are there every single day.
Yes. Yes.
Who
Yes.
own a store and they are there every day. They're not franchising their business. They like to be hands-on, but it's too much to do all three. So
Right.
my suggestion is to know which one you are so you can know who to hire.
Yes. Yes. I get it. That is so important. I think I might have read either a portion of that. I've read that somewhere too.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to know who you are, your type. What type are you? And once you know that, and I definitely advocate for business owners to get help.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, some
You
people say, "Well, I don't
absolutely.
make enough money." Well, you will eventually. You're
Exactly. Be
going to
planned
make
to get the help immediately.
exactly. It's an investment.
Right.
And if you're, like you said, if you're going to be a worker bee, then what's the point of having your own business and
Exactly.
doing it all yourself?
And if you do, let's say you like to be hands-on, let's say you own a salon and you want to be the one who is hands-on and doing makeup and doing hair,
Mhm.
hire someone to do the administrative work.
Exactly.
Hire someone to help you with the ideas of like, oh, now that you're doing this, you can do this. You
Yes.
can still run like that can still be your business, but expecting yourself to be able to do all of it, like I would consider myself a true entrepreneur. And like I said, that sounds cute, but I have a lot of ideas and thoughts, but the follow through, it
Yes.
just, I
Yes.
struggle with that. So one of the things that has helped me be successful this past year is the EHR system, the electronic system that I have for therapy. It's called Simple Practice. It holds everything, my calendar, it takes payments, creates invoices, records, income, it pays me. It does everything that if I hired an administrative assistant would do.
Yes.
And I would not have made it a year
Yes.
if I did not have that.
And that's so important to know that you need help, whether it's using a platform to help you have that help and get organized and structured, or whether it's an actual physical person.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, figure it out and know that you need something to support you as you grow your business. And that's what you want. You want your business to grow.
Right.
You know,
And thrive
and
without
right.
you.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you again so much, Aliya. It's so great to have you on. I really appreciate you, and thank you for being my first guest as well.
Did you mind? I actually forgot to mention this when we first started speaking. I'm so sorry, but I did create a wellness tracker for
Yes,
women, for burned out women. I'm so
yes.
sorry. This is it's available on Amazon. It's called 3 Months of Wellness for Burned Out Women. I created it because I find myself asking women or my clients in general. I am very holistically centered. I think that one of the first things I focus on is physiological functioning, because I always tell my clients, we can talk all day, but if you haven't slept adequately enough, you're not eating enough,
Mm.
all of those things, you're in pain, it's not going to have an impact. And so I like to make sure that's in order first before we even start a lot of the psychological work. And so this is a tracker that helps you track your daily activity, your social battery, so you can work with the therapist, a doctor, a coach to help you figure out what factors are contributing to your burnout, and then they can help you create a plan to reduce it.
I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I put that link in your in the post. So ladies, look at that post that's there, the link. Definitely click on that, look into that. That's something you definitely want to pick up. And I think that's awesome. That is really awesome because it helps you kind of walk through the process, walk through what's happening to you. I think
And
that
you
is
have something
great.
physical to see, like, oh wow, I was in pain for 3 days in a row, and that's why my mood wasn't okay.
Mm-hmm. That is great. Okay, so now thank you again. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your story. Friends, if you love today's conversation, you can connect with Aliya. I was going to say, call you your mother's name. I'm going to say Janice.
That's all right.
You could
I
connect.
figured that was going to happen.
You could connect with Aliya. Her website is ivyrootscounseling.com. Definitely check out her website. Also, take the time to schedule an appointment with her, a 15-minute appointment. Talk about how she can help you deal with your burnout, and definitely check out on Amazon her wellness tracker as well. So until then, keep shining, keep thriving, keep supporting women-owned businesses, and we will catch up with you again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.